Today we're invited to a special place where food and wine come together European style. Just north of Santa Barbara in a unique valley, it's early spring with dark clouds above, but not to worry. We'll have fun being with the famous, sometimes infamous, but always friendly and interesting Jim Clendenon. Finally, we're here at the Au Bon Climat Winery. Come on. Let's go meet the spirit in this bottle. How did you get your first job in the wine industry?
Just about the time I graduated, I began to work for Fred Brander, helping him on his bottling line. So I bottled his 76 Gewürztraminer, helped him do a little bit of work there, and at that point, it was very serious, my interest in wine. And I was going to apply to law school. I took a year off again. I was slow while I was involving this, and that year was designed to kind of enhance things. So I went to Champagne, I went to Burgundy, and when I went to Burgundy, contrasting it to Bordeaux, that's when I discovered that not only did I want to go in the wine business, but I could afford to go in the wine business. In Bordeaux, it appeared that you had to be a baron, you had to be a duke, you had to own a castle.
Yeah, title, and you had to have land in your family for 3 generations minimum.
Precisely.
Right.
And that's what gets to be a little bit funny. The opposite is true when you go to Burgundy, where you have to have a tractor, 10 rows of vines, and a basement big enough to hold 36 barrels, and then you can have your own domain. And so once I saw that, I realized that it was possible to do that. I have dreams like everyone. I would love to have a romantic cellar. I'd love to have caves drilled into the cliff, and I haven't been able to. The first thing I dreamt about, and the most important thing for a winemaker, I believe, is getting your vineyards in place. And when I started my company, I had to buy grapes. We were picking our own grapes when Adam Tomac and I started Au Bon Climat in '82. And so it's been natural not to lavish a lot of money on the building until we got our vineyards together. I now have 85 acres of vineyards that I either own top to bottom or own above the ground, between 85 and 100 acres. I haven't really counted them up recently.
Own above the ground?
Yeah, so lease land with vines that I own and stakes and the trellis system. Yeah, we started off with Moselle. One of my guys I was competing with was named Rainer Löwenstein, who made wine in the Middle Moselle, made fabulous wine. He's very, very avant-garde in what he does. He doesn't try to make clear wines with lots of sugar, botrytis wines. He takes his grapes and he makes wine just like I would. Picks a parcel, vinifies it. If it goes dry, it goes dry. If it stays sweet, it stays sweet. It's really, really, really good stuff. Close. What's great about this bottling line is maintained by another company. We don't own it. It gets driven here in the trailer. They have better equipment than we could ever afford to have as a winery of our size. We pay by the case. We don't let the bottling line do anything. They can't actually add anything or subtract anything from our products. So no sulfur, no filtering, no cold stability. They do nothing at all with our product except it comes in, enters there, and comes out as bottled goods. So we make sure we have all the verification of the science in the wine. So it's us to determine the chemical balance of the wine and the clarity of the wine. And what they're doing is just filling the bottles, putting a cork in, putting a foil on it, putting a label on it, and getting it out. And it's a great thing for small wineries to be able to do.
Are these corks?
These are foils.
Oh, these are foils.
Yeah, so this goes on top of the bottle, purely for cosmetics, made out of tin now. They used to be made out of lead, and of course lead, that's why the Roman Empire failed. We were getting stupider every bottle of wine we were opening with lead capsules. So now we have tin capsules, and those really big bottles that we have that you saw, we have to get specially custom designed foils to actually fit over there. You can see the big bottles here. We put up for charitable work. We put up 5-liter and 3-liter bottles that we sell to benefit charities all over the country. Make-A-Wish Foundation, Magic Moments Charities, the High Museum, a lot of art museums, a lot of American Cancer Society, Heart Association, and they seem to raise a lot of money. A little bit of liquid, large amount of money, good for charity, good for me. Well, we've always been a really weird winery for a couple of reasons, and the most important reason was we set up our company not to do any direct sales. So we didn't have a tasting room, we didn't have a mailing list, we didn't have cellar door work, we had none of that.
You just got a club now.
I do now. Now I have all that stuff, but only last year. It's all been very unimportant in the way I sell wine. But on the other hand, we did set up to export wine very dramatically. And so we began to do England very early, Germany relatively early, Japan came along slightly afterwards, some places in Canada, the Netherlands, Hong Kong. I actually sold wine to Australia and New Zealand. I mean, if you want to know the real problem in selling wine in different places, it's the different value of currency. That's one really big issue. And the other problem is taxation. I found that every time a distributor is sold or bought, they gain and lose a lot of products. And so, especially if they lose something in my niche. So, for instance, when the Chalone Group was sold under the Rothschild umbrella, there was a distributor in Chicago that didn't have any product in my price point for the Chardonnay, for instance, the regular Chardonnay that I make. And they had previously been selling 10,000 cases of End of Valley Chardonnay, which is a Chalone product. So they lost that because Chalone then took their products and went to a different distributor. So immediately they called me. I sent my wine to them. They liked it, and they're now selling 4,000 cases of Chardonnay for me. So for every negative, there's a positive in that way. I don't think distribution for high quality wines is a problem. I don't think distribution for fairly priced wines is a problem. The only real problem you have is if you have so little wine for sale that you wouldn't be important to the people who are selling your wine. In that case, you better do direct sales. I mean, everybody forgets in California, like every place else in the world, that we're basically trying to have a vine grow healthily through its growing season, and the latter part of the season totally shut down, give all of its energy to ripening fruit. And the only way you can do that is to have a balance between the cubic centimeters of leaf surface that you have and the cubic centimeters of grapes that you're growing. You know, people talk about clusters per vine, but then if you've got a massive leaf canopy, then you could have 1,000,000 clusters per vine. And if you have only 500 vines per acre, you're going to need that. And there's a lot of plantings in Santa Barbara County that are still that way. We have doubled the density of the plantings. As you can see, we're only just about a meter in between the rows here, and we're a little bit more than 2 meters here within the row. And if you add that up, it's between, depending on the space and what we've done, between 1,550 plants and 1,700 plants. And so we're relatively 30 or 40% as much as they have in Burgundy. Burgundy would be 4,000 plants per acre, but we're 3 times as much as we're historically planted in California. So to get the same crop and the same balance, we'd be looking to have 3 times less fruit per vine foot. And here we're in the sweet spot of the clone from Dijon that seems to work the best in California, and that's the 777 clone. Always very dark in color, soft and round in acidity, and makes a monolithic fruity wine. And not 100% my style, but when you blend it with the Swan and you blend it with the Jackson and the 115, it works well. Then just down below, about 3 rows down, and then all the way in the end there, is 667. 667 for me is the one great clone that Professor Barnard did that gives you complexity, aromatics, soft tannins, some of the color of 777, but it gives you a much more Burgundian wine rather than a New World Pinot Noir flavor. And so in all of my plantings, I have more 667 in the ground than anything. I've been working with fruit here since the mid to late 80s, and the understanding that I had of how things were planted and the way the fruit turned out made me think that by changing the density, changing the trellis system, changing the cultivars, bringing in these new clones, we could actually improve on the quality of what's going on. There was already good wine here, and we thought we could make great wine, and I think in the last 5 years we've probably been vindicated on that point. For us, the soil is less important. It has to be well drained, and it has to have a good exposition, but the soil is much less important than the microclimate. What I think is really important about this valley is we have wind that comes down here in the afternoon, we have wind that comes off the coast, but it's hard to get a lay of the land orientation. But in general, the mountain ranges that we're looking at here are running east and west out to the ocean. So straight over this hill and straight out there is no mountain range between the Pacific Ocean and ourselves. So the hotter it gets in inland California, the more the Pacific Ocean comes over and camps right here. So when it's hot in Bakersfield, it's cool here. That would be June and July, for instance. And then when it's cold in Bakersfield, it's actually mild here. So you could come here in January and have a nicer day than any time in the month of March.